everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Wee.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Well, yes. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Ringside. I'm John.
And I'm Kendra.
And listen, all right. I know we do this from time to time. And I know we're like, hey, we're back, baby. Like it's some sort of like season premiere or something.
Right.
And in a way it kind of is, but really it's not.
No.
We just been busy.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry. Bustella's shifting around the whole thing. So if there's seismic activity, it's Bustella's huge ass moving around the bookcase in the desk.
Bustelo is our cat.
Bustelo is our cat. He's 24 pounds. Last we checked, which was a while ago.
Just an absolute
He's a
unit.
beast.
The fucking beasts of all beasts.
Yeah. He's
truly.
like 4 feet tall.
Stretched out? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, stretched out. Anyway, so when he moves, we move just like that.
That's
so
right.
if you see the camera shaking, please ignore. It's not us, it's him.
But yeah, we've been just incredibly busy. It's been a really, really crazy time at work. I'm a teacher. It's testing season, end of the year, activities, field trips, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've also just been, following my dreams, pursuing my passions. Was in a musical in a regional theater, and those rehearsals and tech week and shows, and it just really takes it out of you.
Yeah, there was a period of time where he would go to school from like 8 to 4, not counting travel time. He would come home for like an hour, and then he'd be at rehearsal from like 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Rehearsal that was an hour away. So, and especially like that tech week, that was like every day.
Yeah, that was it. So I realize, I know some of our newer, well, I guess it's not newer now at this point, but I know a lot of our like followers on social media are kind of picking up on the theater as well as all the other stuff that we're into and that we do here. But for those of you who are maybe here based on us talking about wrestling or movies, yeah, I do a lot of musical theater. That's one of my jobs, and yeah, just rehearsals. Kind of like Kendra was saying, it depends. The rehearsals I was in, they were evening rehearsals, so I did get to do my day job at the beginning of the day, and then just rehearse. And the particular show I was doing is a sung through, so I mean it's all singing. There's not really any dialogue or spoken words. So I was also just like really
Talking.
taking care of my voice.
Yeah. Because he has to teach during the day, right? That's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't shut up at home. And then he goes and he sings through a 2-hour straight show. So
yeah. And the particular part I was singing, I mean, the whole show is difficult, but I was singing the tenor role. So it's very high. So yeah, I just had to like really manage how I was using my voice. So we didn't do any new episodes of this. One, just because I was fucking tired. But also had to rest my voice. We yap a lot on this show. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is just an hour of yapping.
Didn't record any new episodes for the other podcast I do, John/John. Go check it out.
But all that's about to change.
But all that's about
He is free.
Change.
He is free from the shackles of musical theater temporarily.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not for too long. I'd like to keep gigging, but
So, we're back.
So we're back, baby.
Yeah.
And we're barreling into summer vacation, so I can do more.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of John over summer vacation. You'll see the same amount of me. Not much. I don't get summer vacation. That's fine.
Real people.
What?
Real people don't get summer vacation. Not these riffraffs indoctrinating the kids in the schools.
These teachers who want all this money and shit for doing what? Shaping our youth for the future?
Oh, you're not even teaching them the Bible. You're having them read about the 3 branches of government. Yeah, I am. Because you know what?
They're going to need that.
Their parents don't know it.
Oh. John speedrunning getting fired. Anyway, all that to say, we were very busy. I wasn't. But going forward, we're going to be back at it more regularly.
Yes.
And we did pretty well with pre-preview.
Yeah.
As we could.
But even that, so our last pre-preview, if you got to watch that either on YouTube or live, it was really funny in the sense that because that was my opening weekend of my show, I didn't really watch Raw, or I saw SmackDown, but I was already so far behind on what had been happening leading up to Backlash that we were there, and I'm just like, I've been pretty disconnected, y'all. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that was probably the most like out of touch we were.
We didn't even watch Backlash that night.
No,
because it was my opening night.
Yeah,
and like it was Mother's Day weekend, so my mom was in town, and yeah.
I need to text your mom. Happy birthday to your mom. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
I can't swim, so I need to text her. But anyway, so what do you want to talk about now that we're back, John?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Kendra. It's like I prepared some stuff.
It's like you wrote it down and I'm looking at it right here.
Yeah. So speaking of wrestling, let's just jump right into it. Some of the big news this week. WrestleMania. Always a big topic of conversation. Mostly where the hell it's going to be. WrestleMania 42? Hey, who knows?
So
who knows?
Not
in New Orleans.
I've never seen this happen before. I don't know if this has happened in the past, but it was like fully announced. We had a whole like the themed logo was shown. The Rock came out and he was like,
"Yeah,
we're doing it in New Orleans, baby." And then they're like, "Never mind." And I hear the reason behind that is because they received a significant bid. It's like a lot of people are worried. If there's like a worst case scenario and a second worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I have a bad feeling it's going to be one of those two things.
Yeah.
But some people are seeing it as possibly being the first international WrestleMania, which could be cool depending on where it is. Could be cool. But also like, why go through the whole rigmarole? Why tell us where it's going to be only to back out of that?
Well, they normally do that. They'll normally announce WrestleMania the year before.
Right.
Where it's going to be.
That makes sense.
Right. So, but I agree. I wonder, I don't know. I don't know. Now, I know there was, I don't know if you remember last year, there was, John Cena made an appearance when they did one of their London shows.
Yeah.
It may be Money in the Bank.
And he was like, "I'm gunning for it to be you."
Right. So, that would be cool.
That would be cool. I think if they're going to put it anywhere internationally the first time around, I feel like the UK crowds have proven that they can make it like something super fun.
Well, WWE is starting NXT Europe.
Didn't we already have that?
Well, we had NXT UK.
Oh, same
They
diff.
dissolved that, but now they're bringing back NXT Europe.
Okay.
So I feel like that would be a good cross branding, cross promotion there. But it's so bizarre that they would make that announcement. And I know they announced other things happening in New Orleans, including WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, things like that.
Yeah. For
But,
future
like,
dates.
Right.
So it's like they're like, "Hey, don't worry, we'll be back."
Right.
But just like, I'm sure that excited a lot of people. We were talking about how because one of the rumors is that it's going to go back to Vegas, which is like, I think everyone's second worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because that's, I understand this is a business. They're out to make money first and foremost. Like that is their goal. I get that. It just sucks to be reminded of that. Like I'm trying to have a good fun time and you're reminding me constantly that this is like a very money driven industry, which again, obviously, but it's just like, that feels so icky to me.
Like who in the WWE spent a little too much time at the casino, went into massive debt and put TKO as a freaking what do you call it, collateral?
Yeah. And
now they're just working off their debt and they'll be like, you know what, we'll do that again. We'll bring more money into the city.
Baron Corbin got released, so I don't know who it could possibly be.
It couldn't have been him this time.
All
he did was win.
That's true. Towards the end
at Las Vegas. So like,
that's when he turned his life around.
That's when he became happy.
I miss
Corbin.
bum ass Corbin.
Bum ass Corbin.
But yeah, so that's everyone's second worst case scenario is having it go back to Las Vegas. We were talking about how, like, if you're gonna revisit cities so close to back or so close together, never back to back. I don't like that. But like, at least spread it out coast to coast. Like, we're gonna do a West Coast one and then turn around and do a West Coast one. I know people will travel for it, obviously, but not everyone will. And you were just there.
Right.
Let someone else have a turn. I don't know. It just feels unfair.
I'd love a Mexico City.
That would be
City
crazy.
WrestleMania, South Bend, Indiana WrestleMania.
What? What the hell? Is that a real city?
Yes, it's where Pete Buttigieg is from.
You know what's been getting me off topic? There's this trend on TikTok where people will film like these TikToks in these beautiful locations, and then they'll like tag it like Indiana. But it's not. It's like somewhere in the Alps or something.
I've seen people do that with Florida. Like Daytona.
Listen, call me a fucking boomer. I've been getting duped and tricked. I saw one today, and it was like this beautiful mountain range and then like a field with like a little stream going through it, and it was tagged as Idaho. I've never been to Idaho. What if it looks like that? Are there mountains in Idaho? I don't know.
Idaho.
Anyway, so I've been getting duped on the internet by these fucking fake geotags because I don't know geography. I don't know what has mountain ranges, and I don't know what anything looks like.
Yeah,
you frame something up correctly. Yeah.
You put a caption on that video, I'm believing what it says.
If you put a filter on it and a caption and a geotag, why would I disagree? I saw someone go around World Showcase taking like aesthetic pictures in all the different countries. You could have told me that I know because I've been to Epcot so many times, but like if I didn't know, I wouldn't have known. You could tell me that was Venice, Italy, and I would believe you because it looks beautiful.
Because it looks gorgeous.
It's Lake Buena Vista, Florida.
I've seen people do that with like Pinellas Park. I've seen people do that with Daytona Beach.
I can't, I don't have the mental faculties to determine what's real and what's not.
Sorry, I got real local for maybe 3 of our listeners.
Yeah. You guys don't know P Park?
You guys don't
Good
know
for you.
P Park?
Avoid it if you can. Good Asian food, though, in P Park, I will say.
Listen, we had, I'm not going to say the name of the business, but we had a Korean corn dog there once.
Oh, it's a chain.
Oh.
That one's a chain. It's everywhere. Mochi Nut.
We went to Mochi Nut, got a freaking donut.
Delicious.
Korean freaking corn dog.
Shit, we should go back. We should find one. Maybe there's one by us now.
Maybe. That would be some random shit by us, wouldn't it?
That would be some random shit by us.
And listen, I just feel bad, WWE, for feel bad they pulled The Rock out just to make that announcement.
Made The Rock look foolish. How could you?
I know. It's not like the internet doesn't hate the man enough already.
I know. And now he's
like
a false prophet. Now he's a false prophet for WrestleMania.
He's a false fucking prophet. Sorry. You know what? Now I'm gonna go on a little.
Okay.
Now my ass is itching.
God.
So, remember last year? Not last year. No, last year, WrestleMania 40. The Rock comes back. They're setting up what would be one of the biggest matches of all time. The internet loses their fucking mind. They start crying over Cody Rhodes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Fine, whatever. They made lemonade out of that storyline.
Yeah.
People still bitching. I didn't actually need The Rock for this WrestleMania, even though it made the story much more interesting, in my humble opinion. The Rock fucks off. He comes back, helps to set up. I mean, storyline wise, not, I don't know about behind the scenes. They set up John Cena going heel. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Rock fucks off again. The Rock doesn't show up to WrestleMania this time. The internet loses their fucking minds.
Well, where the hell is he?
Where's The Rock? Why was The Rock even there? I'm mad that he was there for John Cena to turn heel and then didn't show up again. What do you want?
Oh my gosh.
What do you want?
That's just the internet. I mean, you might be a little bit biased.
Yeah,
if anyone looks behind.
I know, look behind my fucking.
He does have a rock. But yeah, no, I get it. It's, again, fickle fans. We saw it yesterday with Charlotte Flair on SmackDown getting absolutely booed. I will congratulate her on pushing through. Someone told her, like, don't stop talking.
Right.
Push through it. And eventually they did shut up. But during the match, then they were wooing. They just like to yell. They just like to yell.
Listen, some fans don't like to listen. They just like to be heard.
That's how I feel about some elderly people.
That's how I feel about all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But anyway, that's been. I constantly see it. Online, and then I'm like, all these movie trailers are coming out. I'm like, do you not maybe see why he's not there? The man's got another whole fucking job. John Cena's about to fuck off to go do Peacemaker.
He already did Peacemaker.
No, I mean like press.
Oh.
Yeah.
Peacemaker looks good. Peacemaker season 2 trailer.
Season 2 looks
very
good.
Excited.
Speaking of complete. Oh
my gosh, we're segueing from a segue that was just a detour.
Right. But I think we're heading to the same place.
Well, let's get back to WrestleMania 42 because we didn't talk about the worst possible case scenario.
Oh, yes.
The worst case scenario. Who's the richest like nation in the world? Maybe not technically. Again, not good with geography or geopolitical.
C Nation, baby. Thugonomics. Woo!
So a lot of people are worried that Saudi Arabia put in that big what do they call it? Bid.
I mean, they're getting Royal Rumble. I would be surprised if
so much.
I guess I don't know. Again, Vegas hasn't been like confirmed. That's just what a lot of people are reporting and speculating. They're not getting Crown Jewel this time around.
No, which is weird.
But they are getting Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, it's the first in Riyadh, I think. But I think it's the second, because I think, didn't they do wasn't that Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi?
the 40 one?
Yeah.
That's before my time. I don't remember.
Anyway, so
yeah, they're eating good over there. They don't need a WrestleMania 2. But when people hear they got a significant bid, that's the first place that their head went to,
right. Which
is understandable. And also it's not everyone. It's a lot of people's worst case scenario. Like that would be the worst case scenario. Their opinions. I didn't say anything. Anyway, so we'll see what comes of that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. I mean, I'm. That's a WrestleMania season problem. We're not quite there yet, but
do you think Tampa, Florida, put in the bid?
No, but I do think that Florida is in the works in the next few years. I've been hearing that. They've made that Orlando's made a huge bid to get like several events here over the next few years, and WrestleMania is one of them.
Orlando.
I
do feel a little oh my god, my fucking stomach. I'm sorry guys. My stomach is grumbling. We're going to a cookie place later. I'm thinking about it already. I think we're privileged because Florida is always going to be such a big part of WWE.
Yeah. It's a
their
big
history.
Wrestling state.
Yeah. So, especially Tampa, Orlando. Like,
I mean, you get the performance centers in Orlando.
So I do feel like we do get a little bit of privilege there because it's such a big wrestling state. So we'll see. But yeah, it's WrestleMania 41 is like not that far away. 42. Excuse me. And we don't know where the party's at. We don't know where the function's at. We know the time and the date.
And
not
hey,
the
listen,
function
we love
location.
WWE. We love professional wrestling. There are some unfortunate things that happen from time to time, like during the pandemic when WWE, under the leadership of he who shall not be named, was did indeed somehow finagle the system to make WWE an essential business.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we know how that happened, but
we weren't even really into it at the time, But I remember reading that on the news and I was like, now hang on a second.
And now hang on. I don't know much about much, but
And then I think that's when John Oliver did his piece on wrestling. And yeah, but
I will say though, unfortunately, a year after the pandemic started, that's when we started to get into it.
Yeah.
They were still in what do they called it?
The Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome. So,
But see, at least that's like, that was isolated and they had the screens and it's like there weren't people. Like, I mean, they were there, but.
I have a question. You know how on Microsoft Teams you can raise your hand? I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the Thunderdome the same as the Yingling Center?
I don't think so. I think the Thunderdome was at, maybe. No, I thought they were at like USF.
That's where the Yingling Center is.
Oh, maybe.
I think it might be the same thing.
Oh.
Well, in that case, we're going to the Thunderdome today, baby.
Woo! At the time of this recording, you guys.
It's Saturday night main event. And we will be the main event at Saturday night main event. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So, retroactively, if you haven't, go like all the TikToks and content we made about it.
Yeah.
That way you can fucking see it. I didn't know we were talking about it. So,
yeah, we can.
So anyway, we will be there. We'll have been there. And I'm sure it'll have been a great time.
Yeah. We don't know yet, but I'm sure it's fun. It seems like a great card. We're not going to talk about the card like that, but it looks to be great.
And we got one women's match.
Hey guys. And it was announced yesterday.
After the show.
They said, here you go.
Didn't even
Here,
damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be fun. But anyway, so yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing I think happening in wrestling.
Yeah.
In wrestling, well, WWE right now is just this unprecedented move of announcing it and then taking it out of there.
Yeah.
Slightly, very off topic. Moving on. Before we talk about some of the things we've been watching, one thing we did watch that we're both like, every time we see anything from it, we're just like, oh my God, I can't believe how excited I am for this. Let's talk about Superman. Just real quick, please.
So I'm not even, as you guys know, I'm not a big DC guy. Oh my God. I do have a vigilante. I'm a big vigilante guy.
She's a vigilante guy.
Mm-hmm. He's up there, and then I have Inuyasha, and then I have Bianca Belair, and I'm eccentric. I am eccentric. I am a diamond with many facades.
Oh.
Facets, I believe, actually is the word. Anyway, so, but I've liked everything James Gunn has contributed to DC so far.
Yeah.
Seeing the trailers for Superman, like no offense, Henry Cavill, I haven't given a shit about Superman this whole time.
There goes our platform.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But I'm so excited for the new Superman. I don't know what it is about the trailers. I know we've talked in the past about them being so like bright and colorful and hopeful feeling. In the newest trailer, we've gotten more acting, like actual dialogue. There was no dialogue in the first one. But yeah, I don't know what the crack is in these trailers, but it's making me so hyped, so excited to see it.
Because it's not a movie made for aesthetics and perceived masculinity. I mean, again, the movie has not come out yet.
Yeah, it's a bold claim. We'll see if that sticks.
But I doubt it, just based on everything we've seen so far. Listen, as someone who does genuinely love Man of Steel, that is a very different type of Superman. Just this stoic, tortured soul. Like, that's an interesting take for that time, for that particular moment in time.
And we've done that a lot.
But we've seen it so much. And also, the world is a very dark place right now.
Yeah.
To go back to the roots of Superman and just really find it's not that he's struggling. Okay, I think here's a good difference that makes sense to me. In Zack Snyder's portrayal of Superman, that's like a man struggling with being a god. Mm-hmm. Whereas just based on what we've seen from James Gunn's, from what we can tell so far, it looks like a god who's struggling with being a man. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's an extra layer of, and maybe that's not the right way to say it, but I just feel like it's someone who's struggling with, like, I'm trying to be a good person. I'm not thinking of myself as this godlike figure. I do have these abilities. I can stop a war before it happens.
Yeah. And, like, why is everyone mad at me for that?
Right. And it's like someone who's getting frustrated. And it's like, it's not just someone who's like, well, you can try to stop me. And, like, that underlying threat, he doesn't want to be that.
Yeah.
Based on the trailers. So, I don't know. It seems like there's an extra dose of humanity to this version of Superman we're getting that I think is so refreshing. And, like, it's someone who does get frustrated, who can be knocked down, but get back up with the help of other. Like, I don't know. It's just like the very, very first teaser we got. I mean, that made your boy. It's easy to make your boy get misty eyed, but that one did fuck me up a little bit because again, it's so hopeful in a time where we need it. And I the fact that everyone is saying the same thing speaks to the effect that even through trailers, it's already having.
Even the first trailer, again, with no dialogue. It's almost like the cinematography. The cinematography alone, it's like so moving.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see it. I'm so excited to see it. And it's James Gunn. Like, it's gonna be good. My brother, I did show my brother, I showed my brother, my mom, and my dad the trailer. I've shown everybody the trailer.
Yeah.
I made you sit down and watch it. I showed it to my brother, and his concern was like, that's a lot of people, like a lot of characters. And I'm like, I agree. That's a lot to throw at you all at once. If anyone can do it, it's James Gunn, like, who's done it successfully twice.
Did you see the Suicide Squad?
And the Guardians.
That's
a lot of characters that I, again, didn't care about. Until James Gunn showed me the way.
Yeah. So, very excited for it. I think his sense of humor and just obviously his love for the character.
Yeah.
And not what he thinks the character should be, I think is the key difference there. And again,
and he's fine as hell.
Oh my God.
He's so cute. The freaking my wrist cracked. I hope you could hear that on the mic. Like Clark.
She said, "That's for mama."
I feel like a lot of times Superman's like the hotter version. No, not here. Not here. He's fine as hell, and he's funny, and he's tall, and he's muscular.
Now that's the same reason why all the dude bros out there love Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill is attractive. Okay, Henry Cavill is so what's it called? Conventionally attractive that it like it's like it becomes like, I think Henry Cavill's most attractive as The Witcher. Yeah, as Geralt. Because he's like a little bit more like rugged. Yeah.
Yeah.
But men, that's the difference between the male gaze and the female gaze. That's the difference.
Dudes fucking love Henry
Dudes
Cavill.
love hot guys.
Dudes love hot guys.
Dudes love hot guys. They love to play video games as hot guys so they can see the hot guy's hot butt. They love it.
And it's like, dudes love other dudes with fucking huge muscles.
Yeah.
Glistening. Trapezius.
And don't get me wrong. Those things have their place.
Right.
The female gaze, different.
And it's like, listen, you can like a hot hunky guy.
Yeah, don't get mad at me for pointing it out that you like a hot hunky guy.
You got to be a comfortable motherfucker like myself to be like, damn, I get it. That guy's good looking. Okay? 9 times out of 10, I can predict when I think Kendra is gonna find someone attractive.
9 times out of 10, you're predicting that because they're wearing a mask. Oh.
Now you just revealed a lot about yourself.
There's my vigil. Between my Mandalorian fucking poster and my vigilante, guys, I think
the girlies already knew.
I think they knew. If you didn't know, you're not picking up on context clues, and I'm sorry. That's a dig on your mental capacity, and not mine. Oh.
You know who's all behind me? Hot hunky guys.
Oh. Oh. Damn. Oh my god, what a sausage party. Yeah, no, it's all men. Oh, you got Aranya on your other side over there.
I got Spider-Gwen right behind me.
You got Spider-Gwen behind you. So there's some some representation.
Yeah. So
anyway,
you know, that's okay.
Yeah.
The hottest, hunkiest.
What?
Captain
Rayhold.
And that bitch Cheddar.
Aw, that's just some common bitch. You have 2 Rock Funkos back there. We can't really see that one, but we can see that one. We have the final boss Rock up there. Oh.
Anyway, so real quick, we'll go down the list of other things we've been watching.
Okay.
One of our last episodes that we recorded before our extended hiatus, we did talk at length about the rest of the season, Daredevil Born Again. So just kind of touching back on the finale. One of our big, not criticisms, but criticisms was that it overall really, really enjoyed the show. You could kind of tell. I think they did as masterful a job as they could to connect what was the former version of the show with what was the newer direction they were going in. However, you were really able to tell, some moments less than others, but you could kind of tell when they made that that hard pivot.
I feel like the first episode was the most egregious with all of that.
Like they really had to set up these new directions.
Yeah. But by the end, I think maybe because they had a little bit more time, I assume they filmed things out of order, but like it didn't feel as disjointed in that finale. From what I remember, here's the other thing, the gag, is that I don't remember what happened in the finale.
Don't worry, I got you.
Okay.
So the finale, we set up, I know this is a storyline in some iteration of the comic. I don't think it was necessarily Born Again. It might be part of it, but I know there's like the Mayor Fisk storyline that they had in the comics. But Fisk is, on this anti-vigilante tirade, right? And gets his freaking group of crooked cops to basically just flood the city and fish out any vigilantes they can get their grubby little mitts on, either by killing them or locking them away. The Punisher is back. He's fucking everybody up. Gets caught, gets fucked up, but continues to fuck people up. It's amazing. And basically the show ends. Karen's back. I'm sure you remember. And the season ends in such a way that's like, again, this and another show we're going to talk about, very crazy that they were written at a time when the election didn't happen the way that it happened. But Fisk declares martial law in the state of New York, and I'm like, or in the city, shuts everything down. And then you have this underground group of heroes led by Daredevil and Karen Page, to fight back. And there's just this really inspirational message that Daredevil shares at the end, like just about fighting back, because that's how like goodness reigns supreme, right? And it was such a, not the way I was expecting it to go, but I was like, man, this was like such a message needed for the type of leadership we have right now. Yeah. And I know, listen, and before you get all pissy, like, oh, why are you making everything because it is.
Yeah, there are some things that's how they were meant to be perceived.
And that's how, I'm going to sound a little pretentious, that's how art reacts to what's happening in the world, by making some sort of, even if just thematic connection to it. That's why I said I don't think Man of Steel works as well today, because that's imagining a darker world. We are currently in the darker world, so we need to imagine a brighter world.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think overall the season was very well done. I think now that they've played in the other sandbox, Now they have their own, and we're already hearing some exciting things. We've been clamoring for it for 5 fucking years.
She's back.
She's back.
Jessica.
The baddest bitch
Jones.
of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. Jessica Jones is announced as coming back. Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones is coming back in Daredevil season 2. I'm not going to lie. When the credits started rolling on the finale of season 1, there were 2 thoughts in my head. One, damn, I think Foggy's actually dead.
Yeah.
Guys, he didn't come back. And 2, where was Jessica Jones?
Where the fuck was
Jessica Jones should have been in that bar at the end with everyone else getting a pep talk ish from Matt. Where was she? Well, she was busy that day, but don't worry, she'll be back.
Drunk as a skunk somewhere, probably. Poor
so
girl.
I'm so excited. Again, I love Daredevil. I feel like I had a special spot for Jessica Jones, the Netflix Jessica Jones, and Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. She's so good. She's
so
simply
good
too good.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to have that season 2. Something to look forward to.
We got a freaking Punisher special on the way. Mm-hmm. And listen, that was the one thing about that post-credit scene was that, listen, you can't let charming old fucking Frank Castle charm you into coming near his goddamn cell.
Stupid. Stupid.
He needs your forearm to be able to kill you.
Yeah. He could kill you with your pinky, I think.
Yeah.
He could snap it off, get rid of the meat a little bit, take one of the phalanges, stab it through your eyeball. You're dead.
Remember when Ron Swanson was with Ben Wyatt and he was carrying a crossbow and he's like, that pen in your hand is more of a weapon in my hands than this crossbow is in your hands.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. That's how Frank is.
Yeah, truly.
With literally everything.
Truly.
So, like, but we are getting that special. This show pulled no punches where it's very TVMA.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good sign between not Daredevil, Deadpool and Wolverine and Daredevil Born Again. Marvel is getting more and more comfy, really leaning into the content for adults. I'm all for it.
And I would go even further to say that it's not even just Marvel, it's Disney. Because
let's talk about this next thing.
Andor season 2 also did not pull any punches and was way more overt about everything that they were talking about than season 1 for sure. And then most everything else of Star Wars has ever put out, this was like the most like there were So,
I've said it on socials. I'm gonna say it again. Andor is Star Wars at its best.
Yeah.
It is the pinnacle of what Star Wars storytelling can be. I think I said this after we watched one of the episodes of the show, and I was like, man, that show makes me think so much. Just because it's like all of these themes, again, and it connects back to not even one specific moment in time. At its core, Star Wars was created to be a commentary on fighting rising fascism. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just what it is. And that's not my words. That's George Lucas, who everyone hated when the prequels came out. Everyone fucking reveres him now. That but the internet doesn't like the sequels.
They will in 20 years.
He said that his inspiration, you could take it from the literal American Revolution, or the example he referenced all the time was Vietnam. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not an us thing.
Here's the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with. That subtext, the themes, the commentary is there in everything you consume.
Right.
Every TV show, every movie, kids stuff.
We learn it in 4th grade. I can tell you that.
Some of it's not deep, especially if it's like geared towards children. Sometimes the commentary doesn't go that far. It's like, be a good person and be nice to people. Right. A lot of the times it's really, really deep, important stuff. And just some people struggle to pick that out of the story that they're watching.
Right.
And digest it and understand this is what this is trying to tell me. This is what this is trying to warn me about. And unfortunately, the state of our country and our education system, no offense, not your fault.
Listen, I'm doing my best.
And the rise in AI, I fear things are going to start going over people's heads more and more because they can't think critically. They can't pull out themes from anything. That's why people have the fucking Punisher logo on their car and a Trump sticker.
Right.
Those things don't mix. You just don't understand.
They're diametrically opposed.
That's why you have, well, I will say a lot of the times when I see Star Wars stuff on cars, it is like the dark side stuff.
Right.
And then they'll have like a pro-Trump sticker, and I'm like, actually that checks out. Maybe you do understand it.
Here's my fucking problem sometimes. And listen, look around me. I love merch. I just do. I can't help it. I love merch. The dark side stuff, First Order, the Empire, it just all looks so fucking cool.
Unfortunately,
it's so cool.
It is cool looking.
Like, it's just so cool, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't get me wrong, I like the Rebel stuff too, but it just looks so cool.
Luckily, I think most intelligent people with brains in their heads can understand, like, oh, this person likes this property and doesn't maybe align with the thoughts of the baddies that are on their car. Like the stormtroopers. Like, come on.
So, like, when you have, and I love Star Wars in general, the family friendly of it all, but like, it's in, I'll just use A New Hope, Star Wars, whatever you want to call it. It's easy to be like, I have this giant weapon that can blow up a planet. As a general audience member, as a child, I know that's bad.
Yeah.
I know that's bad. But to see the Empire using, to use a term, fake news, propaganda, to villainize an entire planet of people as a means to frack their planet and like mine for all of their natural resources under the guise of like, oh, I'm doing this for energy to like help people.
Yeah.
Except you're doing it to build a weapon, a nuclear weapon that can cause mass genocide to multiple planets. Like, when you paint it that way, when you tell the story that way, you're like, oh my God, I can't help, as someone who pays attention to what the fuck's happening in the world as best as I can. That's a lot sometimes.
Yeah. But
also, like, that's just picking up on like what the commentary side of it.
Yeah.
But just how the use of practical sets, practical locations, really getting gritty with like the camera work and even the dialogue, like just not pulling any punches as to what people are trying to do. There's this really horrific scene with Bix that they just did not like. We were both surprised when she said what she said, because we're like, oh my God, like
they said it.
I was expecting in, Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm to like really lean into the
me. He assaulted me.
Right.
Not what she said. Which I don't know. We're only not saying it because I don't know if that'll get us like flagged or anything.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, if you've seen the show, you know what she said.
You know what it is. You can guess.
Yeah,
but that's great.
And for a show that's titled Andor, named after its titular character, I know some people might not. Although I haven't really heard any complaints about this. I haven't heard a lot of complaints about the show in general. But having several episodes, not that many, but several episodes that focus on the other characters in this story, it didn't feel like, I know some people had this complaint about the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh.
Where they're like, how you have a show about Boba Fett and we have all these episodes where he's not even in or doesn't say anything in it. And I could understand that, but we had the same thing here. except these episodes really propelled. I don't know. It shows how fighting this battle, this war, affected so many people, and how those people's struggles ultimately led to where Andor's story concludes.
Yeah.
And I think the finale, which was so subdued, like we'd had our battles, we'd had our big emotionally like driven moments. Bix broke my fucking heart in this show. I get it, don't get me wrong, but like we've had all this stuff happen, but this episode is really just like the calm before the storm.
Yeah, because we know what happens next.
Just checking in one last time with everybody. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The show is just so beautiful and so like masterfully made that, yeah, I just can't help but think it's like I mean, the best way I can describe it, the pinnacle of what Star Wars is.
Yeah. I heard someone say it's like by far the best Star Wars show. I agree with that. It might be like the best Star Wars. Listen, I've always been a Rogue One stan. I think that's my favorite movie. I don't remember a lot of the other ones. I think that's why, because it was just so standalone for so long. It was easy to digest as someone who would. I think when I saw it, I don't know if I'd seen most of the other ones.
Right.
So all that being said, like Cassian Andor's legacy, because that's what Andor's about. It's about this one man's legacy. So that's other people. But like that whole story arc, I think is my favorite thing that Star Wars has ever done. And I say that with a Mandalorian poster on my wall.
Oh, listen, and I love The Mandalorian. And that's the thing. There's so many, at this point now,
Different
whether
vibes.
you love or hate the shows, there's so much variety in Star Wars now and the type of storytelling we can get that, yeah, I think it's like, and this is not a dig at The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is meant to be like a something you can watch with your family. It's fucking cool. You got a cute little mascot there. So, like, it's cool, right? Ahsoka, I feel like, falls somewhere in between, where it's like there are some pretty big themes you think about in Ahsoka, but there's also cool Jedi fights that the kids will enjoy. So if they don't get some of the bigger themes, they'll at least have that, right? The Acolyte.
Hey, that's TV-17.
Hey, that's for the girlies, right? No, I love the Acolyte.
I love the Acolyte too. I think people will come back around on that one.
And then you have Andor, which is like.
And then you have Skeleton Crew.
Oh, then you have Skeleton
Crew. Which is complete. Skeleton Crew was the last thing we got before Andor, right?
Yeah.
That is that's the most diametrically. Did you already say that?
I did, but it's okay.
That's the most like different theme. Like
they're on two ends. They're on two
opposite ends of that spectrum, which is crazy that we got them back to back.
Skeleton Crew's great. If you ever watch Skeleton Crew, you got to go watch that. That's such a fun show.
Yeah, very kid forward, obviously. It's like it's a bunch of kids, but yeah, going from that to this, oof.
But even that talks to kids in such a way. There was that one episode where it was just all about this one of the characters. For the lack of a better word, she's got several disabilities, right? At least in this version, in this show, and how she's like, I can't move the same way. Oh, several of the characters I can't move the same way. I'm not that fast. I need help to like be able to get up and do things.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, as I was watching that, I'm like, oh my God, this is like such a way to teach kids about how other kids, how kids aren't all the same, and how some kids they move differently or they look differently. And I'm like, again, that might be something that goes over people's heads. Didn't go over mine. I really appreciated them for doing that. But then, and then you have essentially what is, I say at this point, it's Star Wars' version of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Except I think Andor did Game of Thrones better than Game of Thrones did. It's just masterful acting, writing, effects. Just, again, I could go on and on all day about how much I love the show.
It's a beautiful show, too. Yeah. It's like visually stunning.
Yeah.
Both seasons. It's just, I just wish, because again.
So inspirational. Sorry.
yeah, this isn't all, season 2 stuff.
No.
This was season 1 stuff too. And I feel like people didn't give it enough of a chance. And I just hope that people revisit the entire series now that it's over, because we're not getting a season 3, obviously. And just try. I mean, how would they do that?
No, I'm
Okay.
I thought.
I hope people go back and watch it and think of it as fondly as we do, because it is so masterful. And especially right now, I think it's really important that people sit down and watch stuff like that. Just, for unrelated reasons.
I don't think there's ever been a Star Wars anything that's made me cry as much as the show did. Yeah. Again, not a hard thing to do, but season 1, season 2, there's just so many beautiful moments. Now, can I give it into slightly spoilery stuff?
Sure, if you want.
So I'm gonna talk about the end of the show. Mm-hmm. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched it, maybe pause now.
Yeah, skip forward a little bit.
But I'm talking about the end of the show, so this is your spoiler warning for how the show ends. Okay, going into it. The very last thing we see after we get one last little visual catch up with all of our remaining characters leading into Rogue One. We see Bix back on the planet we first saw her in at the start of this season, where she was like last happy, right? Mm-hmm. And we see her walking through a field. We see that, I can't remember. I never bothered learning that one droid's name because he makes me cry every time I think about him. The one with the stutter. But he was playing. He was happy, so I was happy for him. We see Bix walking through a field, and then the camera pans, and we see her holding a baby.
A little.
You called it.
I fucking called it when she was like, "Yo, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
I said, "Interesting. Why would?" Because she was going through it the whole fucking season. God, right. She was going through it.
I know.
But it felt like such a, I don't know, maybe call it woman's intuition. It felt like such a, something has changed to where now I can't partake in this.
Right.
And, I mean, it was just natural to guess that it was that. So, based on, because we had jumped a year from her leaving, and based on the size of that big ass baby, she definitely would have known when she left. And that is why she left.
Right.
And it's so heartbreaking to think like she left and she said, basically, I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
And left thinking, that when this is all over, he'll be able to meet his kid.
Yeah.
Fuck. And we know he doesn't.
Devastating.
And I don't think he ever knew that he had a kid. It doesn't come up in Rogue One, does it?
No, I don't think so.
Might need to rewatch.
But also, like, it's also like the most bittersweet ending we could give him. Like, I think it's supposed to be like his, like, because you mentioned it, and I'm glad you did. The show's about legacy and the legacy he left and leaves behind, which now includes this new Andor.
Yeah.
That's out there. Now, someone pointed this out. I can't remember where I read this. We do have a new Star Wars movie coming out. Not The Mandalorian. Well, we do have The Mandalorian. I think in 2027 is when Star Wars, I think it's called Starfighter, comes out. The Ryan Gosling one.
Okay.
And which that takes place 7 years after the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, God.
Hang on.
Okay.
Which Kendra had a meltdown the other day with timeline stuff.
I'm so bad.
That's the last one with Daisy Ridley. And she kills Palpatine again.
What year? BBY. Because now I have context for that.
I'm not that good. I don't know.
Fuck. Okay.
But fucking like 30 something. So anyway.
Is it BBY and ABY? Okay. Sorry.
So yes, I think so.
Okay.
So basically, someone else had already done the math and were like, this kid would be like in their 30s or 40s at this point.
Interesting.
So it's not impossible to assume that maybe we see another Andor, maybe not a season, but like another Andor character in these new movies.
I think that's why they kind of, it's a way to say like, listen, you knew going into season 1, this character does not survive. This character dies in a very sad way.
A heroic death.
A heroic death, a warrior's death on this doomed planet. So I think it's kind of a way to like leave the door open. We might see Bix again. Oh, I would love to see Bix again.
Give Bix her own show. No, let her rest. And that's the thing. I wouldn't mind if I didn't see these characters again, because knowing that like,
oof.
Hopefully they get one, except for Bail Organa. They get their own. They get peace. They eventually get peace.
Yeah.
And I'd be okay knowing that. Shout out to freaking my mom's boyfriend, Benjamin Bratt.
Benjamin Bratt stepping into the role. He did very well.
He was, and it just makes me a little upset. Like, damn, I kind of wish they would have brought him in for like Obi-Wan. Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I love Jimmy Smits. Yeah. Glad he was there.
It's cool that he was still able to be Bail Organa for like so long.
Latinos. Just still representing.
C.
Anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I'd also like to shout out Mon Mothma,
the baddest bitch of the galaxy.
What is her name? Genevieve O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Didn't know she was. I think she's Irish. No. Wait. I think. Okay. The one who plays Deidre is Irish, and that threw me for a loop. But Genevieve O'Reilly sounds Irish. But she, like, Mon Mothma, you were talking about it the whole season. They took, like,
this ancillary character,
background ass character, basically. A character whose entire, like, first appearance in the movies was scrapped after filming.
I mean, she was there, but yes, I get what you mean.
She was still in it? I thought all of her scenes were taken out. The first one that she filmed?
Oh, no. Well, Mon Mothma was in the original Star Wars. Like, the character was in the original Star Wars.
But for the sequels.
Oh, I don't...
Or the prequels. I thought she said that she filmed something that never came out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway. But yeah, to go from that to, like, being so important and having, like, an actual fleshed out story and a dancing scene, good for you, Mon Mothma.
She's like become one of my favorite characters, and I'm like,
I love Mon.
We're like, I don't know if y'all let us know. Are there any people that like, is there anyone out there that goes as hard for freaking Mon Mothma as we do? Because
here's the thing, I don't think so.
But anyway, yeah, absolutely no. Genevieve O'Reilly was amazing everyone was amazing on the show, but yeah, I love Mon Mothma's story arc and just how important they really made her to the uprising of the rebellion. Yeah. Okay,
I'm okay. In 2005, O'Reilly played the young Mon Mothma in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, though most of her scenes were ultimately cut.
Oh.
The scenes were included as bonus material for the DVD release. And then in 2016, she reprised her role in Rogue One and then voiced her in Rebels and then came back in Andor.
I didn't know that. So she's been playing Mon Mothma longer than the original Mon Mothma.
Since 2005. 20 years she's been playing Mon Mothma.
And so, that makes me emotional.
Right?
So to like wrap up her character arc in this the way that it is. Oh man, that just adds so much more.
Isn't that cool?
I'm teary-eyed.
See, it doesn't take much.
Didn't take much. Just because it's so beautiful to like get this role and then it somehow stick with you for 20 years. Like that's like an actor's dream.
I was gonna say it's also probably hitting you a little bit harder as an actor because you understand that that's like not common.
There's so many. That's like 3 different generations of kids that know you as, or people that just know you as this one thing.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's cool. That's so cool. Last thing I want to touch on. I know we're really running on time.
It's 58 minutes.
Huh?
58.
Oh, okay. So
not bad. Not bad.
Anyway, let us know what you think of Andor season 2.
Yes.
We're just over the moon about it. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say. So the last thing I want to talk about is we finally got around. Well, we saw opening weekend. Thunderbolts, Marvel Studios' newest motion picture release.
Oh.
The Thunderbolts, after what I think is a fantastic marketing campaign they ran over the last few months. We finally got the movie. Kendra, what'd you think?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
It was like
so good.
I will say a lot of people listen. Okay, a lot of people were saying very, very good things about it. I didn't think it was like amazing.
And that's okay.
Don't come for me. But I did still love it. It was just fun. Sad, but fun. I feel like if you put Yelena and the Red Guardian in anything, I'm going to love it. I'm going to rewatch it because they're so good. And this was truly like a Yelena movie.
Yeah.
Which, love that. I think a lot of people have had an issue with the direction that Marvel has taken post
Endgame.
I have never been one of those people, but I've heard a lot of those same people who were criticizing the other releases, maybe with the exception of Shang-Chi. To them, it felt like a return to form. Mm-hmm. And I know that was a common sentiment, so that's good to hear that people feel like it's back on the caliber of what they loved so much. I have been pretty fine with most of what Marvel has been putting out since Endgame. Like, it was never that big of an issue to me, so...
I think the only thing we said was outright bad since Endgame was Secret Invasion, because that show was bad.
That show was bad. Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't great.
Yeah, I didn't hate it as much.
It wasn't
we can't
on its it wasn't its own fault that it was bad, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But like girl, the movie released before this was Captain America
Brave New World,
which I also liked. I heard good things about that one too. So I don't know. I feel like the people who are singing it, the praises of Thunderbolts like really, really loudly are those people who it had so much more ground to cover to make up for what they thought were bad,
right?
A series of bad releases. For me, I wasn't at that low place,
right?
So it didn't have as much ground to cover. So I didn't think it was like, totally amazing, the best thing that they've released in a decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even the thing, well, see, here's the thing. I feel like Marvel, people love going back and forth. Oh, Marvel is cooked. Oh, Marvel's so back. Marvel's cooked. Marvel's back. Mm-hmm. They do the same thing every time now. So like for every, like Loki season 2, incredible, mm-hmm. just absolutely incredible. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Oof.
That one
was bad too.
That one, yeah. I'll go back. Like, it sucks because there's so much I like, especially Paul Rudd and I'll just say Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas. Like, there's so much I do like, but just the movie that was made was just not great. So like, but then we also get I thoroughly enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. Mm-hmm. I loved Agatha All Along. That was one of my favorite shows last year. So I was like, when you really sit down and look at everything, not as much of it was nearly as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
So also, I'd like to point out that Spider-Man No Way Home was after Endgame as well. Anyway.
People didn't no, I won't say people didn't like it. I have heard comments of people who didn't like it. Like, not
I like that
the
movie.
General. I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I don't care what people say. But no, with I enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. I thought, and again, I thought that was, I don't think everything needs to be this super interconnected world-ending thing. I think Captain America had a very interesting story for itself, for that movie, for Sam Wilson at that point in time being Captain America. Again, because either the lack of people who watched, remembered, or cared about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they did have to bring some of those things back into this to just so we kind of got part of a retelling of a story.
Yeah.
I think if anything, for people who've watched the show, that's maybe what dragged it down just a little. I'm only speaking for myself, but maybe that dragged it down just a little bit, but not to the point where I didn't enjoy it. I also very much enjoyed that movie. Thunderbolts, what I loved is that it really was more of a, maybe I'm weird for thinking this way. I feel like it was just more of a character study on like these perceived villains. Like it wasn't, it didn't end up being this big world ending thing. And yeah, I mean, they have to have that threat there. So you have a character like the Void who can be that. But like they didn't have to have the movie literally ends with and we're like a month out, so I'm okay talking about
Yeah.
It ends with not this big battle between all these villains or heroes. It's a man against himself and the people around him, the friends around him, embracing him. Like that's how the movie is resolved. And I think that's, I don't know, there's just something so like beautiful about seeing these like really powerful characters and they're vulnerable and just like, I don't know, it was a very interesting Marvel movie. It was fucking hilarious.
It was really funny. We knew it would be. I found myself, I was a little concerned about myself because I'm like, why am I liking John Walker in this movie? John Walker.
He was really funny in the movie.
He was funny, and like, I think they did better at making him like still like a cock, but like a little bit more likable. He was just unlikable in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He was.
You know what I think it was? I think they leaned into him being like a jock.
Yeah, kind of
whereas
like a
before
douchebag.
he was like trying to be Captain America, and he just so clearly wasn't.
Yeah,
which maybe could speak to his acting there too, being like, I just don't like him.
Yeah,
but yeah, just that he leans into this, but also maybe now it's a defense mechanism since he lost his fucking family. Poor guy.
Well, no, he was a piece of shit and a bad dad, so that's why he lost his family.
Oh no, he's trying. His name's John. His strong name.
No.
So anyway, but yeah, so it was a really fascinating. Just again, I think of it best as a character study. And yeah, I think Florence Pugh is just such a brilliant actor that I'm glad she got like.
We're so lucky to have her. We're so lucky that she's Yelena.
And she is so good as Yelena, and I mean between her and David Harbour, they really are kind of the heart of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was a really fun one, and I agree. And I agree with the idea that it wasn't like amazing. That doesn't mean we didn't both really love the movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be this grand spectacle of things happening for me to enjoy it. I don't need to check off boxes to make sure they did all this stuff in order for me to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because it was a good movie.
I will say there are a couple of things. I feel like the resolution of what's his name? Bob?
Yeah.
Kind of defeating the Void himself through therapy. Hey, listen, me of all people, love therapy. I feel like that would have hit harder had Captain America not kind of done the same thing. Because from what I remember, at the end of Captain America, didn't Sam like...
He talked him off the edge.
He was just like, hey, don't...
Because he was actually a counselor.
I just feel like to have two of those back to back, where we're resolving it with a pep talk. Oh my God, there's a little kid in a little buggy and it has a cover and he's on a walk with his mom. Sorry, that's so cute. I think having those back to back was just kind of like,
I can see that.
And again, don't get me wrong, I love therapy. Everyone should go to therapy. But twice in a row.
I didn't think about that, but I could see that.
Yeah. I do think the way that they did it in Thunderbolts felt more powerful, more impactful, because that pep talk from Sam, again, he has this background of being a counselor, yes, but like it just kind of felt like
that scene was also kind of weird because that was one of those like green screen,
very obviously green screen. Yeah. So that didn't feel great either. So I had an issue with that. I also had an issue with them less than a week after opening changing all of the billboards and signage to reveal that the Thunderbolts are the new Avengers. Like, that was no time for people to go and see it.
I still maintain I think that was the best thing they could do because the internet, it was going to be spoiled for everyone anyway.
It wouldn't have been spoiled for my mom, who isn't on the internet like that, and had to see it on a billboard. Luckily, I don't think she understood what she was saying. Sorry, Mother, if you're watching this now. Spoilers.
But I do think it's fun, and it made sense after the Doomsday like cast announcement because we saw all the fucking Thunderbolts were going to be in there. We're like, oh shit! So something big must happen in Thunderbolts, and this is that big thing, is that now they are the new Avengers. Yeah. There's a hilarious post-credit scene, the longest Marvel post-credit scene we've got so far.
Oh.
Which sort of ties in how the Fantastic Four. Now we see the ship. We see the Fantastic Four as like ship. We don't know exactly what that means yet, because there's an idea that maybe that's how Fantastic Four ends. I am of the belief that's actually how the movie is beginning, is them going into a different universe and coming back out, and that's how Galactus is like, hey,
hang on,
that shit look good, I'm gonna eat it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like because of the art style of Fantastic Four and like alternate universe timeline stuff, it's all fucking wonky. I don't know what to expect. So yeah, it could be the beginning, it could be the end, it could be the beginning as an end flashback, you know what I mean, or flash forward. So I don't know, but anyway, yeah, we're getting a tie.
We know the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts,
they're gonna kiss,
and the fucking X-Men are all in Doomsday. So
that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
Very, very excited to see. I'm still and also just very, very last thing, Doomsday and Secret Wars have both been pushed back.
Yeah.
Only by a few months each.
Yeah.
So they're both releasing in December of their respective years, which is 2026 and 2027. So
I wouldn't be surprised if those move again.
Huh?
I wouldn't be surprised if those moved again.
I don't think they will. I think partially now the outlier is Spider-Man, because now Spider-Man is now slated to come out earlier than Doomsday. So I think it might have been a strategic move for that. But now Doomsday is coming out on the same weekend as Dune Part 3. So we officially have Doomsday, baby.
Oh my God, we can't keep doing that.
Yeah, hey, it's good for the box office. We have Mission Lilo and Stitch this weekend, so yeah,
we'll see how that works out. I will say one more thing about Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Justice for Taskmaster. Oh my God.
She can't catch a fucking break.
You brought her back to kill her in the first 5 minutes? She got to speak once? What the fuck?
Dreykov's daughter.
Poor child. Really a horrible life she's lived.
Yeah.
And she could have come in handy.
She could have come in fucking handy.
A lot of people were upset that she was misused in Black Widow.
A lot of people were upset she was a girl.
Okay, get over that. Me of all people, come on. I saw a hunky man in a mask and I said, hell yeah. And then it was Dreykov's daughter. And I said, wait a minute.
Dreykov's daughter.
I've been catfished. But I mean, oh fuck. We could have used her. Do you think she can mimic regenerative powers? And maybe she met Daredevil?
Probably not. Daredevil. I think she got burnt to a crisp in that freaking oven. One thing that I do that's really... This movie's so goofy.
Forgot about the oven.
At the freaking post-credit scene, we see that John Walker, U.S. agent, he still has his bent-ass shield.
What do you want him to do?
I don't know. No one could hook him up with a new one.
No one likes him. They all fucking hate him. Why would anyone help him? They don't like him.
Fucking Bob can't bend it back. He doesn't like him either.
None of them like him. I don't know if Bob tapping into his powers.
No, he's reading a fucking book. He's pretending to read a book.
Yeah, he's being zen. So I don't know if he wants to.
There's a TikTok of a girl meeting the Red Guardian at Avengers Campus in California, and he's just like, he goes, Bob can't read. He's just pretending to read it, but he's just looking at the words. He's not actually reading.
Can we please have a moment to express our admiration for whoever is playing Red Guardian at Disneyland, because they're fucking killing it.
He's amazing. Go watch the videos on TikTok. His interactions are just so good, so funny.
He's very quickly rose the ranks of the Disney character actors. We have him, the evil queen, who's phenomenal. She's so good. Who else is really good? There's like one more we were talking about.
Talked about. It's not at Disney. It's at Epic Universe. The guy.
Yes, who's playing Hiccup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Good. These people should be making $200,000 a year. It's crazy.
$2 every year for the rest of my life. Anyway, so that about wraps it up.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. I know we had a lot to say because it's our first episode back in a long time. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're not already, please follow us on all the various social medias, as well as wherever you listen to your podcasts, including over on YouTube. Yeah, especially over the summer, I'm gonna really try and just get as much quality content out there as I can, and that does include more episodes of Ringside, more live. We've been talking about doing more live streams.
Yeah.
Not just pre-previews, but just live streams in general.
Chatting live streams.
There might be a couple of Disney park streams in the works over the summer. So if you're into that sort of thing, yeah, just make sure you're following us everywhere. That way you can keep in time with everything we're doing. Because we've got a lot in the works. We got a lot coming in the next few months. So thank y'all for listening to this episode. I've been John.
I've been Kendra. We've never done that before.
It's new. It's kind of fun, isn't
Whoa, I've been Kendra.
I got that from Impractical Jokers.
Oh.
All right. Anyway.
Oh. Woof.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave you with that. All right. Peace, y'all.
Bye, everybody.